So with the School of Education up, sit back, relax. We love to talk. So give me about a half hour and we'll go on to the next. Now, honestly, I'm honored to be here. Good evening, everybody. To the Chancellor, sir, best wishes to you and your retirement, to you and your family. I know as I've rounded 22 years of military service, retirement is something you talk about. And my wife and I have talked about that. So I could just imagine where you're at right now with that. To be honest, I'm feeling a little out of place. Today I spent about 3 hours on campus to get a feel for the university again. It's been a while. I wanted to take in the sights and the sounds. But you know what? It felt like I was right back in school, preparing for a psychology research paper for Dr. Bartles, or studying for those dreaded statistic exams. We don't like those. Driving around campus in Edwardsville, I am totally impressed about how amazing this place looks and how much has changed in just 16 years that I've been away from the campus. It is truly an honor to be here and celebrate with my fellow inductees. To the School of Education, thank you for allowing me to represent our program. It is such an honor and a privilege. To Steve, our Director of Alumni Affairs, thank you, sir, for this program, the Hall of Fame program. But also thank you for all the support I'm sure that you provided all the inductees in the last few weeks leading up to this special event. A special welcome to my friends and family that are here with me. Kevin and Michelle Stork. Kevin, my SIU classmate, fellow alum and college roommate. Though we have not seen each other in many, many years, your attendance is a testament to our friendship, and I'm honored to have you here with us to celebrate this day. Thanks, buddy. To my fellow Security Forces Defender, classmate, fellow alum, Lieutenant Colonel Tommy Miner and his wife Candy. Having spent a tour teaching at Clarkson University since SIU, I can only imagine the challenges that Kevin, Tommy, and I pose to our professors. Earning paychecks for our professors was likely an understatement, and more likely they needed bonuses or time off awards. To my sister Lynn and her husband Mark, the little princess, my niece Caitlin, and to her big bro and my nephew Sean, they drove from Massachusetts yesterday to be here. Thanks, gang. It means the world to me. And Linny, I know Dad is smiling down on us right now, and I'm sure he's stirring his fine glass of scotch and going, "Did they get the right Scott Foley?" Most importantly, to my strength, my best buddy, my supporter, my wonderful and beautiful wife, Tiffany. You are my rock. You are my strength. She's a military spouse, and there's no other job that is harder than being a military spouse. She's also a professional social worker, and she has the hardest job of keeping everything together when duty calls. So I love you, babe. Thank you. Back to the Three Musketeers. I am happy to report to the Cougar faculty, your hard work does pay off. Kevin is a very successful occupational therapist and executive healthcare manager. And I've watched Tom lead our elite security force units in combat under fierce combat operations in Iraq, conducting first of its kind counterinsurgency operations for the U.S. Air Force since the Vietnam War. Your students have risen to the occasion and developed into community leaders. To be recognized as a 2011 Hall of Fame inductee is humbling in itself. But to be inducted with such distinguished leaders as Larry and Gail and John and Stan, Bob and Paige, and the General, Sam, Gene, Ed, Raleigh, Marianne, and our fallen alum and inductees, Dick and Cleveland, it is truly inspiring. Each of us come from different walks of life with different career choices and responsibilities. Yet I find one common theme, and that is we are truly examples of SIU's mission and vision, of excellence in the developing of professional community leaders. amazing accomplishments, and I salute my fellow inductees for their inspiring leadership. I need to recognize a few very influential Cougar faculty members. During my first semester, January 1993, I was enrolled in American Politics class. I had just separated from the active duty Air Force Enlisted Corps. I was a Desert Storm veteran, spent 11 months over there, and I knew everything. Little did I know. His name escapes me. That's the problem of it. But he had such a lasting impact on my career. He was an Iranian citizen. And for one, he was an Iranian citizen, but for two, he had the most amazing outlook on the world that I had never heard before coming from the military and the uproots I had. The critical thinking skills that I learned directly shaped my thinking as an Air Force officer over the last 16 years. When I arrived at SIU, I was a math major, but soon learned by Air Force docs that I was blind as a bat and that I could not be a pilot. So I quickly got smart, no offense to my technical degree programs here, but I ran over to the psychology department and I said, help me. And I met assistant professor at the time, Gary Allen. Gary was fantastic. After listening to my sob story, my big dilemma, my dream of flying jets, crushed by the Air Force, he introduced me to industrial organizational psychology, and then to seal the deal, he arranged for an internship with Anheuser-Busch there in St. Louis at their corporate offices there. And I worked out there for 2 years. The rest was history. And then Dr. Lynn Bartles was my advisor who helped me understand the IO world and how I can apply that to United States Air Force. I would eventually be commissioned in this very room in 1995 as a second lieutenant, and also went on to be a behavioral scientist for the Air Force. Although my career field has changed, the knowledge, skills, and abilities that I learned from Dr. Bartles has helped me as a commander of 2 security forces units, as well as multiple deployments and combat operations. And lastly, Elizabeth Grant, who was a speech communications department, a truly great mentor and friend. There were definitely others, but those were definitely my standouts. In closing, the School of Education and Alumni Affairs, thank you for such a tremendous honor. I am truly humbled to represent the university, and go Cougars.